A giant foot crashes down near a tiny hill. Meet Eddie, the biggest bully in the jungle. Eddie the elephant sprays water on a group of tiny ants. He loved showing off his massive strength. The ants are soaking wet and shivering. But little Andy, the ant, wasn't afraid. Andy stands tall while the others hide. Size doesn't give you the right to be mean. Eddie laughs, his trunk shaking the ground. You're just a speck of dust, little one. Eddie blows a giant gust of wind at Andy. Andy tumbled back but stood right back up. The next morning, the sun is shining bright. Eddie was busy knocking over trees for fun. He spotted Andy carrying a heavy leaf. Time for another shower. Eddie trumpeted loudly. Eddie sucked up muddy water from the pond. He aimed right at Andy's tiny home. Splash! The ant colony was nearly flooded. That is enough, Andy whispered with determination. The other ants were crying and scared. Andy knew he had to protect his family. That afternoon, Eddie fell into a deep nap. His loud snores shook the forest leaves. Andy quietly crawled toward the sleeping giant. It was time for a very small lesson. Andy climbed up Eddie's thick, gray leg. Higher and higher the brave ant went. He reached the edge of Eddie's giant trunk. One small step for an ant, one giant leap for justice. Andy slipped inside Eddie's trunk and started biting. Ouch! Eddie woke up with a huge jump. Eddie trumpeted in pain and shook his head. Something was tickling and biting inside. He tried to blow water, but it didn't help. Please stop. Whoever you are, please stop. Andy's tiny voice echoed inside the trunk. Now do you see how it feels to be bullied? Eddie fell to his knees, tears in his eyes. I'm sorry. I'll never be mean again. Andy slowly crawled out of the trunk. He stood right in front of Eddie's giant eye. Eddie looked at the tiny ant with respect. You may be small, but your spirit is giant. The forest was quiet as the giant apologized. I didn't know someone so small could be so strong. Andy nodded and called his friends out. Respect is earned, not taken by force. Eddie started helping the ants fix their home. He used his trunk to move heavy twigs gently. The ants and the elephant began to laugh together. The jungle had never seen such an odd pair. They shared fresh fruit under the big oak tree. Eddie learned that kindness is the truest strength. Now, no one in the jungle is ever afraid. Because the biggest elephant has the smallest best friend. A beautiful sunset over the peaceful jungle. Moral: never look down on anyone because of their size. Eddie and Andy waving to the viewers. Subscribe for more big adventures with tiny heroes.